So hello and welcome to AI Talkers. So today in this video we are actually going to talk about different things. We have been learning SQL, Power BI till now, but in this video we are going to talk about something different, and that is going to make you surprised. So first of all, let's get back to our board, right? So as you all know that we already have discussed that what we are actually going to cover, right? So you all know that we are going to talk about a complete data science here, right? So you all of you know about that this channel is going to about data science plus artificial intelligence, right? And we currently have started from Power BI, right? And we are also at the same time we are also learning SQL at the same time. Like every single day we are uploading videos of MySQL, and we have agenda that we are going to cover Power BI and MySQL within a month, or maybe it will take some more time, maybe 1.5 months. So we will cover that. But I recently have decided that I should cover one more tool along with that, and that is we are going to talk about Excel as well. So parallelly, we will also be uploading videos for Power BI, SQL, and Excel as well. And this video is basically going to be about the map of Excel, right? So in this video, we are going to talk about that how are we gonna study Excel and what is gonna be the roadmap for studying Excel. All right. So see, basically, if I talk about the roadmap, so we will actually try to cover it within a 1 month, like within a 4 week, right? So in first week, what we will actually do, so in first week, that would be from day 1 to day 7, right? So there we would actually be trying to cover the concepts like we will try to understand the interface of Excel, right? And we will learn about some navigation, and after that we will also do some data entry. We will learn some data entry, and after that some basic formula, and then formatting. So basically we are going to cover this in the first week, right? So in first week, that means in 7 videos we are going to cover this. And if we talk about the week 2, right? So in week 2, that is day 8 to day 8 to 14, we are actually going to understand core functions and formulas. Like we are actually going to talk about functionalities and formulas that we have. Basically we are going to learn about like logical lookup, all right, and then text, and after that like text date functions, and then uh, named ranges so basically we are going to cover this in week 2. And then in week 3 that would be from day 15 to day 21, we are actually going to learn about data analysis tools, where we are mainly going to cover things like tables, right? And after tables we are going to learn about pivot tables, and followed by that we are going to learn about chart, conditional formatting, and data validation technique, right? So we'll learn about chart, conditional formatting. These are very important. Conditional formatting and data validation technique, we're going to learn about that. All right. And then after that, in week 4 we are again going to cover advanced and automation. This is again very important. This is actually need of the time right now. When you go to find job in the industry, they will ask you that you know automation or not, you know advanced Excel or not. So they're going to ask you these questions. So we're also going to cover that in the week 4, where we would actually be doing it in like from day 22 to day 30, right? So where in this we are going to learn about things like advanced lookups, power query, and dynamic array. And after that we will also learn macros and VBA, what they are and how do we make VBA. We are going to learn about that, and then after that we are going to do a complete capstone project. All right. And we're going to learn about VBA, macros, okay, and after that like advanced lookup. So basically, we're going to talk about this in the upcoming lectures. Where like my agenda is not just to learn. That I always have been talking about. Our agenda is not just to learn the Excel, but to implement them. So that when you are going to find a job, it doesn't let you stay behind in the competitions. You're always in top, right? So, all right, this is actually the overall structure. But let's talk about a day wise. Like, what are you gonna learn in the first day? So, basically, in day one today, we're actually going to cover a lot of things in today's lecture. There is not just going to be overview, and it's not just going to be orientation lecture. We are going to cover more than that. So, basically, this is actually a very important lecture. So basically, if I talk about day one, so basically today we are going to talk about interface, Excel interface, and then navigation. All right, and then talking about the day two, where we are going to learn about data entry, and formatting, some basic formatting. And then in day three, we are going to learn about basic formulas, and what are cell references. We're also going to learn about that. Okay, and then in the fourth video we're going to learn about sorting and filtering. Sorting and filtering. Actually, see, the video is going to be deeply. It is not just that the video will be for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. No, each video would be of around 1 hour. So that is why I want all of you to bear with me in the complete lecture, so that you carry something important with yourself. And at the same time, I will also be giving you assignment, so that whatever you learn, you implement that, and then that concept sticks to you for all the time. So that is why we're also going to give you some assignments related to each of the videos, right? And then if I talk about the fifth lectures, where we are basically going to study some basic charts, all right. And then in the sixth videos we are going to talk about page setup and printing, all right. So now talking about the next lecture, that would be lecture number 7. Okay, so basically in the lecture number 7, basically like we will review and do mini project, like whatever we have studied till now in the first week, we're going to review that here, and we'll also do a mini project here, so that we cover all of the concepts that we studied till day 6, and we will try to cover that through a project. So it would be a kind of revision through a project, right? So now let's talk about week 2, right? So basically in week 2, in week 2 we are first going to talk about day 8. Okay, so in day 8 we are going to talk about logical functions, where we're going to talk about if, and, or, not. There are a lot of things actually. Let's not get into that as of now. And after that we're talking about day 9, so we're going to talk about lookup function, lookup function 1, like lookup function type 1, where we are going to learn about VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and the basics. And after that, we're also going to learn about exact versus approximate match, right? And talking about the lecture number 10, where we are going to talk about again lookup functions part 2, where we are going to talk about index match, where like we will come to know that it is more flexible compared to the VLOOKUP, right? And in lecture number 11, we are going to talk about text function. Again, this is very important. So in lecture number 11, we are going to talk about text function, right? In lecture number 12, we are going to talk about date and time function. Okay. And then in 13 lectures, we are going to talk about named, ranged, and error handling. See, it might be possible that sometimes my English would be not understandable, but believe me that the English I speak is very simple, and it's not like I'm native speaker, so definitely I would do a lot of mistakes while speaking. So pardon for that. And but yeah, if it's something that is not clear to you, or try to mention that in the comments, so I will explain that to you in detail. or maybe I give you some like my contact number. You can contact me over there as well. So that's not going to be barrier for you. If you have like if you have any doubt, you're open for the discussions. I'm always there. All right. So let's talk about video number 14. So basically in video number 14, like this would actually be end of the week 2. So again we will review here and project do a project here, right? And after that we will finally be moving towards week 3. Week 3, right? So in week 3, first we are gonna like uh, first in 15 videos or in 15 lectures, we are first gonna talk about Excel tables, right? Where we are going to turn about like where we are going to learn about like convert range to table structure reference and table style. We are going to talk about this, and after that in lecture 16 we are going to learn about conditional formatting. These are very important concepts. And in lecture number 17 we are going to talk about data validation. Okay. And in lecture number 18 we are going to talk about intro to pivot tables. Okay. And in lecture 19 we are going to talk about pivot tables part 2. It will be part 2, and we are also going to learn about slicers over there, right? And after that in lecture number 20 we are going to talk about pivot charts pivot charts and dashboards. We will also try to build dashboards using the Excel. So there is no, and finally in day 21, basically this would be end of the week 3. So basically again we are going to review whatever we have studied in week 3, and after that we will also do a project here, right? So at the end of every week we will try to do a project so that whatever you learn, you actually implement that. So learning is not a big deal. You can learn that, but the fact is that you have to implement them. Like today, you want to learn anything, so a lot of resources are available on the internet. But the thing is that you should be able to implement that. As long as you are not implementing that, there is no sense of learning that, right? And ऐसा होगा कि like आप क्या करेंगे ना कि like what you will actually do, let's leave it. Let's study. Like all the times you would only like to study, but you wouldn't like to practice, you wouldn't like to implement. Why? Because it takes effort, and you always choose a shortcut. Okay, let's study. Because why? You're only using your eye there. You're not using your hands. You're not using your brain there. So that is why you always you always think of doing a stuff that doesn't require any effort. Okay, so that is why I'm gonna always urge you to actually uh, to actually implement the things that we study here. So basically, let's talk about week 4 now. Okay. So if talking about the week 4, so here we are going to first study on day 22. We are going to talk about advanced lookup function, and then in day 23 we are going to talk about like array formulas, and dynamic arrays, right? And in day 24, we are going to talk about what if analysis. What what if analysis. And in 25th day, we are going to talk about intro to Power Query. Well, you don't have to worry about Power Query because we would already be covering this in Power BI part, but we are again going to cover that in Excel part as well. So that would be a kind of revision, but again, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So after that, let's talk about 26th lecture. So basically, in 26 lectures, we are going to talk about macros and VBA. We will learn about this. This is actually very important. Like 99% of the Excel users, they don't know about this. They always tend to skip this. Why? Because this is a coding part. But we will study that. Whether it's tough, whether it's easy, we are not going to leave any of the concepts. So don't worry, we are also going to talk about this. Why? Because see, a lot of times I have seen on the job descriptions, they actually ask for VBA, for macro. So it's a better to have more options than having limited options. So that's why we're also going to talk about this, not in detail, but just slightly, so that you get some ideas. And if you think that this is interesting, then you start learning by yourself. So basically, we're going to talk about it little less, but not too much. Okay. And talking about 27th videos, so where we are going to learn about like collaboration and auditing tools, like collaboration and auditing tools, right? And in 28th videos we are going to learn about advanced charting charting and visualization. And in 29th videos we're going to learn about capstone projects. We're going to, like, basically this would be part one of the capstone project part one. Okay. And then in the last videos, that is 13 videos, basically we're going to have capstone project part two, and this is how we will cover the entire Excel. Okay. So now we have actually known that how are we going to cover the complete Excel in our syllabus. So basically, since the till now we have only been talking about overview. So now let's talk about real part. Okay, so let's talk about what are we going to study today in the today's lecture. Okay, so let's study that. Okay. So I know this video is too lengthy, but like if you want to cover the complete syllabus, I would recommend you to watch the complete video. But if in the case if you think that I'm speaking slowly, then in that case you can increase the speed to 2 or to 3, whatever suits for you. That's not the issue. All right. So let's talk about what are you going to learn about in this lecture. Okay. So basically this is actually orientation lecture that I have always talked about. Basically, in this lecture, you're not going to learn any formulas, and you're not learning like in these lectures you are learning where things lives and how to move around confidently. So basically, this lecture is not going to cover any kind of formula. Basically, you are going to like in this lectures you are going to learn about where thing lives in the Excel. Like different, we are going to talk about different interfaces and icons in the Excel. So basically, we will be talking about that, right? So and at the same time, by the end of this video, you will be able to name and locate every major ribbon tab. Okay. And after that you will be able to explain the difference between workbook workbook and worksheet. And after that you will be able to navigate a sheet using arrow keys like control plus arrow and control plus home, right? And following after that we would also be able to rename and add worksheet tab. And after that we would be able to like save a file as .xls extensions or .csv extension. And we will actually learn like what is lost in that conversion, like when you try to save .xls file in .csv file. So what is lost in that conversion, we are also going to talk about that. And after that we would be entering and editing and deleting data in cells, right? So let's talk about first let's first have the tour of the screen. Okay. So at first we're actually first gonna have, like, we are first gonna see a ribbon. We are first gonna see ribbon. So any of you have any idea about ribbon? It's not that ribbon, it's not cloth. It's not cloth. I don't know how to pronounce that. But in our language, when we say ribbon, it's like it's a kind of cloth of it's a small cloth to bind on the head, to bind on the top. Okay. So like whenever there is some occasion, since I come from a Muslim community, so in Muharram I see a lot of people binding a ribbon on the head, okay, on top. So on Excel you would have ribbon on top as well, so you can correlate like that. But let's see the proper definitions. How do we actually define the ribbon? Okay. So basically it is a strip of buttons. It is a strip of button across top, and it's organized into tabs, and each tab is organized into groups. So basically it is in top of the Excels, where where it is organized in tabs. Okay, and each tab is organized into groups, and each tab is organized into groups. Okay, so basically ribbon is in the top of the Excel, right? And it is organized in tabs, and each tab is organized in groups. Okay, that means there would be a lot of groups inside each tabs, right? So let's see what are the tabs you're going to have in the ribbon. Okay, so the first tab that we always get is the home tab. Okay, in the home tab where we will have things like see it might see like whatever I can remember right now I'm telling you that, but we will actually look in the Excel itself, we will verify everything over there, so you don't have to worry about that. But since I'm telling you here, so that it will help you to revise, because you will also see it here and you will also see in the Excel as well. So that is why I'm doing it here, and I'm gonna do it there as well, there on the Excel as well. So that is why. So in the home tab, you will see things like you will see things like font, cell formatting, number formats, and basic like a number of formats, and after that basic editing, sort and filter shortcut, shortcuts, right? And after that, the next tab we have is insert tab, and basically in the insert tab we will have tables, charts, and after that we will have pivot tables, and after pivot tables we will have pictures, and then shapes, right? And after that we have a tab called as a page layout, that we will see actually, like, see, we are going to see each of the tab over there, but I'm just giving you some overview so that when you are going there you have the idea. Okay, it should have this sort of like uh, uh, like uh, if I talk about home tab, it should have this sort of groups. If I talk about insert, it should have this sort of group. So you should have an overview, or like overall idea. So basically, if I talk about the page layout, so basically it should have margins, and then orientations, and print area, and then themes, right? And after that we have a data. So in case of data we have a sort, filter, data validation, right? And then power query imports, and then we have reviews. Okay, so basically see different kinds of tabs are there, and in case of review we will have a spell check. Okay, and after that we will have comments, like we will have feature to protect the sheet or workbook, right? And after that we are going to learn about, like, we will have a tab called as view, where we will have options, like we will have groups like fridge panes, and like grid lines, zoom, workbook, views, etc. It is, I know the writing is not understandable because I'm not writing it. I'm just doing it cursively so that I will focus. Like I will request you to listen to me carefully, because sometimes, but don't worry. Wherever the writing is required clearly, I will do that. But as of now, I don't think it is needed to write everything clearly. So that is why. And but if you want to get the, like, if you want to get the notes, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to let me know that, sir, I needed notes, because I'm actually making separate notes in my workbook. So like, I'm going to give you that as well. You don't have to worry about that. All right. So now let's talk about touring the interface. Touring the interface. Okay. So basically, let's say this is actually the Excel sheet. This is Excel sheet. Okay. This is Excel sheet. So the large area is the grid. Okay. So the large area we call it as the grid. We call it as the grid, and these A, B, C. Let's say this is the A, B, C, D, E. We call it as the columns. These are columns, and after that let's say this is the one, two, three, four. So we call this as what do we call? We call it as the rows, right? So basically at the bottom you will see like at the bottom you will see tab that is wait a minute, let me select this, okay. So see, at the bottom you will see seat tabs, like as just below that you will see seat 1, seat 1, seat 2, and then there would be a plus sign. There would be plus sign. So if you click on this, it will create a new seat. Okay. So this is what we actually do, and after that let's talk about what is sale, what is rows, and what are columns. So see, we call this particular area as the sale, and if I talk about what is rows, then this complete like the collection of cells, okay, horizontally we call it as the rows, and after that we call this as the columns, like we call this as the columns, right? So basically uh, the data is little dirty. I think it is a better to do it in Excel as itself. That is more better than wasting time over here, because it would be clear very soon. All right. So let's say that you open the Excel. Okay. So I will request all of you to open the Excel right now. Okay. So you don't have to wait for the long time. All right. So as you open the Excel, I will let's say that you click on new sheet, and then you open a blank workbook. Okay. So this is like, see, there are different, like this is a seat here, right? So you can, if you click on this, and then if you click on rename, you can rename the seats, like you can change the name of the seats. But let's understand what are rows and what are columns. So see, this is the rows. When I click on 2, 3, 3C. This is the rows. But let's say you click on A or B, so these are basically the columns, right? And apart from that, see, if you click on plus, it creates another sheet again. So these are the tabs that represent the seats. This is a seat one, this is seat two, and this is a seat three. And when you click on plus, like plus icon, it will create new seat, right? You got it? Okay, so now let's try to understand what are cells and what are rows and what are columns. So basically, what is cells? Do like any of you have any idea about what is cells and what are rows? Like any idea? So basically, if I say it in a simple definition, so basically a cell is intersection of rows and columns. So let's say if I talk about this cell, that is B3, that means in column B from here, column B, and in third row. So this is intersection of rows and column. We call it as the cell. That is B3, right? And apart from that, let's say that okay, this is the A1. We just name it as of now. And after that, let's say you click on D6. Where is the D6? This is a D. This is 6. D6. So let's say you name it as the D6, right? And after that, type your name in A1 and press enter, and click B1, type a number and press tab. Okay, so let's say your name is Rana, and after that in B1 press your, let's say you are typing any number, right? And after that press tab to see what does happen. And let's say you actually put city here, like let's say city is like Patna or maybe anywhere, and then you put tab, then you click on tab. What does happen? Did you notice something? And let's say you are also writing something here. Okay, in this you're writing what should I write? State Delhi. and then you click on tab. What has happened? So you actually see whenever you click on the tab, it takes it takes you to the right cell. Okay, so this is what we learned. Okay, and after that, let's say you are selecting a range. Okay, so drag a1 to c3, drag a1. What, this is a1, right? This is a1. So you drag a1 to c3, a1 to c3. What did you notice? Did you notice anything? Huh? And after that, like, click column header B, click column header B. Okay, and after, like, click column header B, entire column select, and click row header 5, click row header 5. So row header 5, row header 5, row header 5. So did you see that it actually, okay,